Wi-Fi. There we go. What's good, people? It's your boy Nappy Nick. This is the Holy City High Podcast. Welcome. I've been on hiatus since January, so 6 months of not me saying shit on my podcast. But guess what? I'm back, bitches. Let's get it. I'm joined by Jacob and Matt. Say hello, guys.
What's going on?
We got two Clemson fans. That's why I had to rock the FSU shirt. Put my laptop down. Make sure y'all see that clear. Guys, we're gonna do this. I'd like to welcome everybody. We're gonna get this rolling. This is gonna be a weekly thing to all my viewers. I hope everybody participate. I'm gonna get this zero to more numbers as people join in. If you want some comments, we have some good bets for all my viewers watching. Please, what the hell is this website? Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, I'm not worried about that right now. But are you guys ready to lock and load?
Yeah, let's get it.
Yep, let's go.
Let's do it. I'm gonna start with week 0. We're gonna do a review of week 0. This is gonna kind of go back over the bets I made, what popped and what didn't. You see how good my goal is to be above 50%, and I was not over 50% in my bets. I'm gonna let these guys comment, see what bets they would have made and what bets they did made on their own. Let me sure I figured this out. We're getting old. Technology's fighting against us. Before I do that, I'm going to go over the week 0 scores first. You check them all in the ticker right below. We did have number 6, Southern Cal beating San Jose State 56-28. Number 13, Notre Dame beating Navy 42-3. Jacksonville State beating UTEP 17-14. UMass beating New Mexico State 41-30. San Diego State beating Ohio 20-13. Louisiana Tech beating FIU 22-17. And last but not least, we had the SEC opener with Vandy beating Hawaii 35-28. Vandy, fuck you from the heart. Because y'all were 28-point favorites. That was ridiculous. But you look at some spreadsheet. Hopefully, I can't zoom in, so people might make do if you can see or not. I went 5-7 for the year. Of course, the red is my losses. The green are what I hit on. My losses consist of USC first half points, minus 17.5. That's an L. Vandy first half points, 9.5. Louisiana Tech first half, 6.5. And New Mexico State spread, minus 6. All L's. In addition to Ohio plus 2.5. Vandy minus 17.5 for the spread. And the Ohio money line. My wins were Jacksonville State covering plus 1.5, Vandy over 37.5, Notre Dame minus 20.5, San Jose State covering plus 32, and the Jacksonville State money line. There was only 7 games, so my bets were pretty limited to what I can make. Any thoughts from you guys from week 0?
Take any over you can on Southern Cal. That is what I think is free money because their defense is still atrocious. Take whoever they're playing to cover the spread. They have a great offense. Their defense is still trash.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that, man.
Second half.
And stuff. I will push back a little bit that San Jose State did have a pretty good offense last year, and the way they were playing that game, it looked good. Still, I don't know. You should give up 28 points if you're trying to be a playoff contender, especially in that Pac-12. Like I know that bottom half of the Pac-12 sucks, but that top half is actually pretty good. But I think it's going to come down who actually can play defense in that conference. As we're going to get to down the road, too. But that's my week 0 review. I'm going to get to it because I know the first game's at 7:30, so we got a little less than an hour because we have some technical difficulties with me trying to figure out how to use this shit. But here we go. We're going to go to the week 1 slate. Down the ticker below, you're going to see the top 25. So for my listeners who want to catch on to that, you're more than welcome. But we're going to start with the first game. Florida at Utah. This is the Thursday night game of the week, essentially. Let's see what my notes are for this as I popped it up. And we're going to transition to week one. So our viewers can watch and kind of contribute to Nick, Matt, and Jacob. If viewers want to compete with this, I'm trying to come up with an app on ESPN, little group. You can do a pick'em challenge. Try to do that every week. Kind of keep tabs. I'll probably do that next week because I just didn't think that far ahead. And I was also kind of just too busy. Well, once I figure it out, I'm gonna come up with some rewards, maybe like apparel from the Holy City High or something, or some gift cards. Figure out and stuff. But we're gonna start with Florida at Utah tonight. Click on my eye sheets. You should look it over. Yeah, I'm gonna need 3 screens when I do this.
I was
We
just
have
saying the same thing. I need another screen.
4 like that. 2 is fine, but 3 is like because I have to have one of my screens for the cast. We got Florida and Utah. This line has jumped so much in the last 4 hours.
Yeah.
Stuff. Originally, this line opened up at 8.5 with Utah. I think when Cam Rising was announced that he wasn't going to play, it dropped down to as low as 4. Right now, it's currently sitting. I have it 4.5 on the screen right now, but right now I'm sitting at 6, 5.5 across most of these books. Jacob, I'm gonna let you start this one off. What's your thoughts on this game, man? What you got?
So Utah coming off with this injury, I don't know what they're going to bring out as far as their. I don't know anything about their backup quarterback, but I'm really looking at Florida with bringing in this new quarterback and Mertz. I mean, he did pretty good at Wisconsin as far as I can recall. Nothing major, but I feel like they were not a very pass-heavy offense, which he's pass-heavy. So I'm looking at Florida to upset them just due to this new quarterback coming in and Utah not having much offense in this game, and Florida's defense probably stepping up a little bit with that happening. So I'm going to take Florida outright.
Okay. Florida outright. Let's get that documented, man. Documented. Florida outright. Let's put Florida ML. From my listeners watching, watchers watching, I guess. So Florida outright right now on the money line for that. I'm trying to see actually. They even have one.
On my line, I got plus 186.
186? Okay.
Yeah.
We roll with that. Middle money line 186. Matt, your thoughts, buddy?
Without Cam Rising, and then they lost Dalton Kincaid to the NFL draft last year. I don't know how they replace them. They have Bryson Barnes at quarterback tonight for Utah. Yep, doesn't ring a bell with me either. And then you got the Florida, duo of Montrell Johnson and then Trevor Etienne in that backfield. I just don't know if Utah can slow those two down enough to keep it, to cover the spread. Maybe like Jacob said, maybe outright win for Florida, but I'm definitely just going to take the quick 4.5 for Florida to take that 4.5. Graham Mertz, he's a game manager, but you can cover spreads with a game manager, especially with the running back duo of those two.
I do agree with that. Just add that to that before I get my piece. Plus 4.5.
If Cam Rising was playing, completely different story because that dude's a gamer.
Absolutely.
And, I think, if he's in the game, I'd probably take Utah. But without him, I think Florida just has the running back tandem to make Utah's night long.
All right. I'm going to piggyback on that. I absolutely agree. I looked at this game last year, and I know probably the most memorable play was that kind of like turnaround quarterback toss by Anthony Richardson to the back of for a touchdown after he broke like 1 or 2 tackles previously. But he was actually trash in that game outside of that play stuff. I know that this game's playing in Salt Lake City, and there's been a big hype about the elevation, which is a real thing. You're about, I think, 4,500 feet is where the elevation for that stadium is. But I think at the end of the day, I just truly not that Utah's a bad team, but I think player for player, Florida matches them. I know people are kind of like been dogging on Florida all off season, um, but look, they got probably one of the best running back duos in the country. Um,
I wouldn't go that far, but they got two good ones.
ETN, man. I think if he balls out this year,
Hey,
at minimum, he's a day two pick. Day two pick, man. Day two pick
he's only a
stuff. But
sophomore. He's not going anywhere this year.
yeah, sophomore. Oh, so he was a
Yeah,
freshman
he was a
last year. Even
freshman
better.
last year. Yep.
Even better last year. So,
Yep.
but I'm gonna join Matt with Florida covering. I ain't gonna choose them outright, but 4.5 is where we have them listed right now. I think you can get them at 6 right now. But that spread has to give up for my listeners. That's mainly on Caesars, DraftKings, and FanDuel. You can catch that. Over under 43.5. I'm not touching that. I think this is going to be. I think it's going to be a low scoring game, but I think it can hit maybe 24-17, which puts it back to 45. But that's just more of like just fruit for thought. I'm not going to put money on for that. But let's carry on, guys. It's a good start. We're gonna move up to the next game tonight, which is also at the same time. I believe it's 7:30. We have NC State going to freaking Connecticut to go play UConn, the women's basketball school and men's basketball too.
Man, they went to a bowl game last year.
They went to a bowl game last year. Actually, UConn was one of the impressive stories. I think their win total was at 2.5 to open the season last year, and they went 6-6. Good guys. Matt, what's your reads on this game, man? Any quick thoughts?
UConn starting. They beat out the incumbent from last year, the main quarterback transfer. NC State, I thought would have been an easy pick until Devin Leary decided to transfer to Kentucky. As a Clemson fan, I absolutely hate NC State because of Dave Doran and all his antics. But I still think with Brennan Armstrong transferring from Virginia and teaming up with the offensive coordinator he had in 2021 when he had 4,500 yards, I think NC State can open it up. Mainly because of Dakari Collins from Clemson transfer in there too. Definitely helps replace like a Taylor Thomas that ended up going to the Vikings this year. So I take NC State to cover that. I believe I have it at 14.5.
14.5. Here, Jacob, how are you feeling about?
Well, I don't know as much about UConn. I know they've been pretty horrible up until last year. They have one win in 2021, and
Yeah.
But I just feel like NC State they've had a great defense the past couple years. As far as points per game, yards allowed, I think they'll continue in that direction. And with this UConn team that's still trying to find some identity with a quarterback, they'll have to deal with a tough offensive or defensive front. And overall, I just don't think they'll be able to hang long enough against a better defense than they're used to facing. And NC State with Armstrong, I remember when he was at Virginia, he could put up some points when he needed to. So I got NC State on this one.
Yeah, and I think Jim Moore is doing a good job at UConn after that.
He is.
Sure. But I think this is too quick when you're hoping to get 30,000 fans on in campus. You're not gonna scare an NC State with 30,000 fans on a Thursday night game.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hype them up. I'm gonna join you guys to 14.5. UConn is returning 17 players for 17 starters from their team last year, but when you actually dissect their schedule and see who they actually beat, they really didn't beat a team that was in the top 50 and stuff. I think NC State is one of the better defenses in the ACC. They've been pretty consistent with that for the last few years. And I think that defense at least give them. Brandon Armstrong is way better than what NC State had all last year.
You say that. You say that. You say
But Devin
that.
Leary is a better player. But
Devin Leary
he got
was
hurt.
last year was a problem. Yeah,
He got hurt though.
Yeah, he did. But their
He
quarterback
got hurt.
situation last year, they had like walk-ons playing.
Walk-ons playing, man. They were like bad
That
stuff.
was terrible.
So if they
But
can
it
get
was
anything
great.
better than that, like I feel like NC State's in the ball. The over-under is 47. I got to see NC State's offense. I really don't know how it's going to look, so I wouldn't really even touch that line. I'm thinking this game's probably going to be 24-10. If I had to take a shot at it, maybe you can score a little more, but the defense is going to hold them out to probably get some garbage points in the end. But we're all unanimous on that. We're going to move on to the next game. This is another big game on this Thursday night. We have we're going to the Big Ten, Nebraska and Minnesota. Minnesota's the favorites at -7. Over under is 43. I'll set this one off. Let me look at my notes while I'm taking a second. Nebraska, Matt Rule. This is where I want to start this game. I'm going to talk to this motherfucker. As a Carolina Panthers fan, man, this man set us back to the Stone Ages the last 2 years, or 1.5 years, honestly. I was never a fan of him getting hired as a Carolina Panther fan, mainly because if you don't have NFL experience, you should not be coached as a head coach in the NFL. This never works. Nick Saban was probably the best. Urban Meyer. This man just quit and was dancing with women just to try to get out of a job. Stuff. But Matt Rule in college has proven that he can actually flip schools and get them back, as he did with Temple and as he did with Baylor. At Nebraska, I'm very interested. Nebraska is one of those blue blood programs that I don't ever see them coming back, honestly. Mainly not because they can't or have the money, mainly because of just the location. Like, how can you tell a recruit out of Florida or Texas or California to come to fucking Lincoln, Nebraska? Not saying they won't get some people, but that's a hard sell when you have a lot better other options. We see the NIL game can step it up. They did get Jeff Sims to transfer from Georgia Tech, which I do like Jeff Sims. I think just him at Georgia Tech was just was a failure. It's just not because Georgia Tech just doesn't take their football program as serious as they should. Because if they did, Georgia Tech could actually be a top 20 job just because of its location. But this game actually focused on the game in Nebraska, Minnesota. These are really two teams I really don't know what to expect from. PJ Fleck at Minnesota got them to 9 wins last year. They were actually tied for first in the Big Ten West. But they lost out on tiebreakers. That's why they didn't go to the championship. But their offense is a little mundane and stuff. And I'm thinking Nebraska coming in with that fresh energy with Matt Rule might sneak the W on this one. I'm not gonna pick them outright, but I definitely pick them to cover. So I'm taking Nebraska minus the cover at +7. Pass on to Jacob. What are you thinking, buddy?
Well, you talk about Nebraska not coming back as football program. Well, they got volleyball.
We got volleyball, man. That was crazy.
90K at a volleyball tournament.
Them boys got nothing to do out there. Yeah, that made people go to a volleyball game.
So Nebraska, we got their volleyball, but yeah, Matt Rule being back, definitely back in college. I think. Yeah, he had a rough stint in NFL, that was for sure. But that's not out of normal for a lot of college coaches. I'm really interested to see if he can bring what Jeff Sims can do coming over from Georgia Tech. I mean, we all know how Georgia Tech normally operates.
Yeah.
They're more run heavy on everything, so it'd be interesting to really see if he can pass more. Matt Rule, when he was at Baylor, they were very pass heavy. So see what Jeff can actually do in the passing game and help them out. Minnesota, last year just had a pretty good season, but this game is still a toss up to me. I could go either way. So having to pick, I think I'm going to stick with Minnesota on this. Rule coming back and a new quarterback. I think they'll have some kinks to work out, and Minnesota will just probably, I don't know, I'm not going to say blow them out, but maybe by, I guess, what's the line? 7? Yeah.
Line 7, yeah. So you want to take them out, right? Or you want to think they're going to cover?
I think outright, because it could end up, I think it might be like a 3-point game, but overall, Nebraska's got a little bit of work to do.
Hear that? How about you, Matt?
I mean, like you guys have said, Jeff Sims showed some flash, when he was at Georgia Tech. But Minnesota, while they like to control the game and run the ball, and they got the transfer from Western Michigan, Sean Tyler, it's going to allow them to do that next year. I'm not a guy that normally likes to do this, but I'm going to take the game under 43.5, just because I think Minnesota's going to run the ball. They're going to control the clock. They're going to they're going to kill the game. And with Nebraska, with Sims, he was inconsistent. Or Jeff Sims, he's inconsistent. So I don't, he's going to have some 3 and outs. He's going to have some turnovers. So yeah, I just think the under there is going to be the way to go.
Heck yeah, man. Damn. It's actually not bad. It's actually not a bad pick.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that. Mainly, like you said, I think they're just going to run the ball to death, so that time's going to be ticking. Also, you got to kind of factor in, and I didn't really factor this in last week when I was making some of my bets. They have that new clock rule where the clock is pretty much running now. So that's it's not going to make a massive difference. Probably make a massive difference of maybe 2 or 3 possessions per game.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking a minute or 2 off each quarter probably with that, especially in the first and second. So you're losing a possession or 2 each.
So I definitely can see that stuff. But let's keep it rolling, man. Next up, we got the Battle of Miami. Miami in the Midwest versus Miami in the on my cursor. There we go. Miami and South Florida, them Hurricanes, them Canes. And I know I might get some shit for this one because as a Florida State fan, if I hate anything more than Clemson, it's definitely Miami.
Florida.
Or Florida. Actually, I mean, Florida. I actually hate Miami. I deal with Miami fans more than I deal with Gator fans. At least the Gator fans I know are a little more reasonable. The Gators only sucked when they had Tim Tebow. Since then, they've been kind of trash.
Right.
Not a hate on Florida, guys. Not a hate on Florida. Not this is not this podcast for that. This is a Florida State official podcast. Just throw that out there. But Miami Papa at Miami. This is Friday night. Spread on this is 16.5 in favor of the Canes. Over under is 45. My thoughts on this game personally is Mario Cristobal. Can you coach? What can you do? A lot of antics on the outside. They have that billionaire booster. But we gotta see it on the field, man. This is one of these teams that I would like to come back. Personally, if Miami's good, it's good for college football because they do have a massive fan base. People like to watch the Canes and also like Florida State Miami rivalry to come freaking back. 16.5. The only questions I have for Miami is, damn, who's going to catch the ball? Because their wide receivers, they really didn't get no massive addition through the transfer portal at receiver. So offensively, I'm still curious about this. You still should be able to handle your business against the SMAC team of Miami, who were a bowl eligible team last year. But if y'all saw the video of that guy talking his junk, saying the real Miami is in Miami, Ohio.
No, he said we'll show them.
Oh, we'll show them.
We'll show them.
Who Miami is. So man, you got to back your words up, bro. You can't be talk. If you're gonna talk, you're gonna talk the talk. You gotta walk the walk with it. Matt, I'm gonna let you go first on this one. What's your thoughts of this game?
Yeah, the quarterback for the Ohio cannot give a locker room of 4 and 5 stars bulletin board material. I mean, I love the confidence. I do. You got to be confident in your team. You had the top defense in the MAC last year. You returned a lot of the starters. And I think that'll slow Miami down for a little bit. But, TBD or Van Dyke has the new offensive coordinator coming in after a rough season last year. But I expect Miami to be able to control the trenches and be able to just pull away and cover the 16.5 point spread.
Oh yeah. Jacob, how about you, buddy?
Well, after the dumpster fire season they had last year, the Hurricanes, I think Van Dyke has got to just continue to put up the numbers. But like you said, Nick, there's who are they going to throw the ball to? That's the big question. So one of these receivers has got to emerge as a stud that they need. But on the flip side, only Gabbert is the little brother from Blaine.
Yeah.
Being up there. I don't know. Does he have anybody to throw the ball to? I don't know. I've never seen him play. I don't know. I do like a good underdog, but I don't think this is the underdog story today for me. I do think Miami will cover. I'm just interested to see if they can turn this around from last year, because it would be nice to see Miami somewhat in contention of a winning season and helping out the conference a little bit instead of being
They've
trash
got
like normal.
the recruiting classes, the last couple of years, especially under their new head coach, to be turning the corner. But I don't know if that means anything anymore with transfers.
I do like them to cover. And their points. I think the over on this too might be interesting.
At 45?
Yeah, because I mean, I think Miami's going to score upwards of minimum, probably 28 at least, but their defense probably will give up some too. So I think it could get up there.
You taking both?
I'm not going to take both. I like the over too, but I'm going to take Miami to cover.
Okay. I'm gonna take the Miami money line on this.
Oh, you can't do that. That's like -190 or -250
Yeah,
or
I
something.
know, but like, okay, how about this? I'll actually fight y'all on this. I'm gonna take Miami of Ohio to cover on
Oh, there
this
we go.
actually, and I know people
I
are gonna probably
respect it.
say because you're a Florida State hater, you're probably just take this right now, but it's actually in the favor of the Bucks. I look at the Bucks and look at the lines, man. 59% of the money got Miami of Ohio covering. Um,
That defense is legit, man. For a MAC team, I think the defense is
Yeah,
good.
the defense is legit. So I think they keep them closer in the game. And I mean, Miami has to show me before I can actually put money on them to see they can actually do it. Because they're kind of like up there with Texas. Like, all right, when you're going to actually show up, we're waiting.
That's true. Yeah.
You're waiting. You've been in the ACC for almost 20 years now, and you've been in one championship and haven't won nothing there. Until you actually do it, I don't believe in you. Yeah, Miami fans, gang. We'll keep it moving. Try to expedite this a little bit on some of these games. Next game we got showing up is Louisville going to Atlanta to play Georgia Tech. Spread at 7.5 on Louisville. I'm gonna start off with this one. I got some notes on this one actually. Louisville has a new coach from Purdue. What's his name?
Jeff Brom.
Jeff Brom. Offensive mind. Purdue was in the Big Ten championship game. Had pretty good high power offense with them. They have a transfer quarterback come in too from Purdue, Jack Plummer.
He's from Cal. He went to Cal last year.
Yeah, he did go to Cal. My bad. I missed this.
You
Right
did.
there. Well, Cal sucked. Fuck Cal. um, Louisville, I'm pretty sure y'all probably follow this too. So Louisville has probably the best schedule lineup in the ACC of any team. Because they don't have to play Florida State and they don't have to play Clemson, and they are kind of like I think the dark horse pick to make it to the ACC championship. I don't see it. I just how their schedule lines up. I think they're going to still like scrub up something, but their favor, I think, in almost 10 out of 12 games on their schedule, which is crazy to believe and stuff. Um, but I am going to go with them to cover against Georgia Tech. Like I said earlier, man, Georgia Tech has the ability to be a top 20 or top 25 program consistently if the school actually just took your football program seriously, putting the actual money into it, which they have. Talking to a lot of people, mainly because if you can recruit Atlanta, you can recruit anywhere. Essentially, if you keep the in-state. Tidbit on that, you got everyone look at Georgia State covers. Georgia State is actually a really sneaky good team to make some money off of. That's just like, because I care for my viewers and listeners. That's for you guys. But on this particular game, I think Jeff Brom is coming back, pretty much coming back home. It's kind of crazy because Louisville and Cincinnati essentially swapped coaches. Essentially stuff because they hated Saffold or whoever the other guy was for whatever reason. I'm curious about Louisville. I don't know if they're gonna be a dark horse win the ACC, but I always feel like that Louisville, that city, kind of supports that program as their professional team, since they won't ever really get a professional uh, team in that city. And I think if you recruit right and NIL game shows up, uh, that school can actually be something. We see if the ACC would be the ACC down in the future for that. But I'm also going to take this, not just the cover, but I'm also going to take the over at 48.5. I think this is going to be a high score game. I don't think this is going to be a defense. I think it's probably at least Louisville puts up 40 and Georgia Tech might put up 20. I think it should be closer to 60. My thoughts. How about you, Jacoby? What are you thinking, Bubba?
Yeah, Louisville, everyone has been talking about them as a dark horse too, but with them not playing Clemson and or Florida State, I just don't see. I mean, I feel like they got an easy road, but down the road, they would definitely get probably smacked by either one of us. Don't know what Georgia Tech's really got going on this year. They haven't looked into this game as much. I do like Louisville to cover. That's really all I got on this game. I haven't done any research on Georgia Tech this year. So
You all good, Bub. I understand. How about you, Matt? Any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, Georgia Tech bringing in a new coach too. The interim Brent Key going to replace Jeff Collins. You know, he went 4-4 last year, and he kept that tradition of running the ball. Key is an offensive lineman from Georgia Tech from under Paul Johnson's days, and I think he's going to keep that tradition of running the ball. Like you mentioned, Nick, Jack Plummer moving over from Cal, had the sixth most passing yards in Cal's history last year in a season. They got Georgia State, as you mentioned as well. They had a receiver transfer from them. He was like one of the top in the recruiting portal. But I think, give me those two over, Texas A&M's transfer quarterback that Georgia Tech's going to run out there and Hayes King. And I just think Louisville's going to cover that one. Just give me the running back or give me the quarterback and the receiver combo.
Hear that, man? But Hayes King was a 5-star recruit too, which is
he was, but hell, it was 3
crazy.
years ago now.
Think about how. Yeah, 3 years ago, 5-star recruit, and just hasn't paid out, man. Sometimes it just happens that way.
Yeah.
All right. This next game, I'm not gonna give too much information because pretty much, I think most of us are probably gonna be in line with it. But we'll just touch on it, make a little quick pick. We got UVA take on Tennessee in Nashville. Everybody knows of the tragedy at Virginia that happened last year and stuff. But outside of that, Virginia lost a lot of their players. A lot of players transfer out of this program too. What's his name? What's the coach there from Clemson?
It's
Tony Elliott.
Yeah, a lot, man. Listen to some of the college football podcasts. No one has faith in this guy. Most people think he's going to be fired by end of the season. Tony Elliott, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I mean it's Tennessee to cover. Let's go. Joe Milton's taking over for them. I think he has probably the biggest arm in college football. kind of like Jamarcus Russell vibes. Hopefully, he's not like a bust like Jamarcus Russell vibes. But we're gonna go with the Volunteers, man, taking cover 28. Let's go, Matt. How are you thinking about?
Like you said, Joe Milton can throw it a mile, but can he be accurate? That's the question I want to see. I think it's like you said, UVA's first game since that tragedy where they lost three guys last year. So there's going to be emotions on that sideline. Does that play into it? Probably not. Tony Elliott lost Brennan Armstrong to NC State and replaced him with an FCS quarterback and lost his top four receivers from last year as well. Just give me the Tennessee to cover with a lot of talent returning.
Oh yeah, man. Actually, one of those cornerbacks is on Florida State's roster. Who knows? Jacob, what your thoughts? Any quick thoughts on this game?
I got the same thing y'all got. Milton coming off the end of the season he had last year, but we'll see if he can continue. They've lost a little bit, but he'll definitely, I think, continue to just get better as the season goes. And UVA, they're kind of rebuilding. It looks like to me. So, and going up against that Tennessee, you saw what they did to us last year, and they just had our way. They had their way, and I just feel like UVA is not even close in that. So, cover this easily.
Also, guys, let's keep moving. That's UNT across the board. The Tennessee Virginia game. We're gonna move on to one of the biggest games of the weekend, not because of the programs, but mainly because of the coach that's coaching one of the programs. We got the Buffs, Colorado, going to TCU at number 17, or second place finishers from last year. Stuff who got beat by 60 in the national championship game. We're gonna see how they rebound. They come in the season 17. This is gonna be a future Big 12 matchup. I got some crazy thoughts on this game, so I'm gonna let Jacob take it off before I put my thoughts in. So Jacoby, what are we thinking on this game?
I'm with Dion coming in. Obviously, it's been publicity. I mean, totally revamped the team. I mean, there's an ungodly amount of players that transferred in. I'm really interested to see how Sanders will play tonight, his son. I mean, 2 seasons, he threw 70 touchdowns, I think something like 16 picks. I know it's at a lower level play, but that's going to be interesting to see how he'll transfer over into D1. But TCU quarterback at Morris, obviously he got injured last year, even though they still made a national championship run without him, and he still got a starting job, so it'll be interesting. But I think this hype around Colorado, they might be a team that shocks us this year. I think, but I could be completely wrong on this because of Dion. But I'm going to take TCU to not cover the 20.5 spread.
Okay.
So Colorado.
I'd rather cover. Matt, your thoughts?
87 newcomers on the Colorado football team. That is insane to think about. That's a big matchup, I think, between TCU's new 4 receivers they brought in versus that Colorado secondary with Shiloh Sanders and Travis Hunter. And with one of 3 returners and Trevor Woods at safety. Max Duggan, drafted NFL Heisman finalist, was a backup. How good is this Chandler Morris guy? That's the real question. Right. If this game was in fact in prime time for Dion, maybe I'd take Dion here, but I'm going to take Colorado to not cover to cover. Excuse me, TCU's not going to cover, but I do think it'll be 17-point game.
Okay, 17. Now, as you all very well know, that Prom Tom got his name at Florida State University
Here we
in
go.
the 90s with a rap video, with the Jericho Curl, everything, man. Dion was one of my favorite players in NFL history, not just mine, most of any people. But BUT on an interview yesterday, they asked him where did he play or what school he claimed. And Talladega University is where he graduated from, and he wouldn't even mention Florida State by name. And I think something, and one of my favorite podcasts I like to watch is the Cup Three podcast, which is a good podcast. With CBS Sports, they probably the best college football podcast after the whole City High.
Right.
But nah, and one of their anchors, who actually was a former quarterback at Florida State, Danny Cannell, got into not a heated argument, but kind of a tad bit of information back and forth with him and Dion. And I shared that to my Instagram story. So follow me on Instagram, you can check it out. But now I think Dion's just salty about not getting the Florida State job that first time around. And that's what that was. So I'm gonna take TCU the goddamn cover, because you know what, Dion? If you're gonna be hating, I'm gonna match your energy.
Well, didn't he also get turned down from TCU?
Huh? Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So this is also going to bring a little added.
Look, added heat, a little spice to it, man. But kind of like piggyback what Matt said. I mean, 57 new players. This is the
87.
or 87 new players.
87.
51 transfers, I think. Overall, let me double check that. So I feel like it was 51. Yeah, 51, 27 from Power 5 conferences. And 4. But the thing is, TCU got some pretty good transfers themselves. They got 3 good players from Alabama. I think wide receiver, a running back, and offensive lineman, in addition to a tight end from LSU and another wide receiver from Texas A&M and stuff. I don't think they're going to have a run where they're going to make it back to the college football playoff or national championship. I still think this is going to be a 9-10 win team, and Sonny Dykes can coach, as he's proven. I'm taking TCU to covers 20.5. Main reason, Colorado has a lot of good skill players. Travis Hunter, you know what he did at Florida State too. So some spikes on this motherfucker, as he was the #1 player originally committed to Florida State. On signing day, Dion flipped him. And that thing hurt. It hurt me, man.
That's the real reason he's taking TCU. Dion and Travis Hunter. There you go.
Yeah, I hear, man. I like to match energy, man. I don't like to get even. I'll match energy with you. But not just because of that, but the main reason is you gotta understand, Colorado was the worst Power 5 team in college football last year. And even with roster haul like that, most of these guys they take in, other than a few guys they got from Jackson State, most of them were either like borderline starters to backup players. And they really didn't get no one on the offensive defensive line that really could be a significant game changer. Stuff, and that's where I think they're gonna get killed. Also, if they get hit by the injury bug, man, that depth is not there. Second, third team, or is a massive gap between first team and second stuff. So if they lose a couple key players, man, it can spiral out of control. Third, we just don't know if Dion can coach at this level yet. You have to see. I think he will, given that Colorado is putting the money into this program to actually take their football program seriously. I don't think it's going to happen immediately, especially not in game 1. Give me TCU to cover 20.5. I think they're going to light them up, man. Go Horns. I don't even know what Horn Frog is, honestly. I'm
just wanting to see if Hypnotoad comes back like it did last year on formerly Twitter. Those are always some very interesting videos.
Dude, Futurama's back, so maybe. Maybe. All right, let's move on, man. We're going to go to the West Coast. Friday night game. Boise State at Washington. Washington's the 14-point favorite. Over-under on this game is 59. Matt, thoughts on it?
Michael Penix Jr. is the only name you need to know. That is a dark horse Heisman pick, and I think he could be possibly, hold your hair, paint your nails, Caleb Williams, the best quarterback in the Pac-12. Yeah, they're balanced too. They got Braylon Price, APL American with 70 QB hurries last year, and it's going to slow down that Boise State run game. So give me Washington to cover that spread.
Oh yeah. Jacob, how about you, buddy?
Well, yeah, with Washington, they've definitely with Pennington, I think are gonna make a good run this year. Definitely give USC a run for the money. Um, I love Boise State, team on NCAA for a long time, the blue field, but Washington still just got more power over them. I think they'll just control the game from the start. And Boise doesn't have a Cullen Moore anymore. They don't have the coaching staff that they're used to. So, yeah, Washington runs away with this one.
Washington cover. That's two picks. Man, y'all like unison today, man. Y'all here like that Kershaw County just loving each other.
Yeah, man,
Out
we
here.
talked to each other before. We had to talk about our picks.
Yeah.
God. I've been. This is a game I was really torn on. I think Washington. Like I think you agree. Michael Penix Jr. was probably one of the biggest surprises of college football last year. Like I always thought he was good. I just thought he was kind of. You just never know he was at Indiana. Even Indiana, they got 7-8
Killed it
wins.
at Indiana. Just got no
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah, we got hurt too. So it was like I think people kind of forgot about that. But that offense is like electric, man. Washington like really is a dark horse playoff team. I think it's really gonna come into the defense. If the defense can step up and just be top 50 defense. Because they were horrible last year. Also, they got probably two of the best wide receivers in college football pairing. Like them you can't cover them guys, man. Not one
Don't
on
tell
one.
Ohio State fans that. They'll have a connection.
I know Marvin Harrison's out there, man. I ain't gonna hurt myself. But like they can put big numbers, man. They're not gonna be facing too many good defenses out in the Pac-12. They'll be putting numbers. Like I said, this is kind of my dark horse pick to take out USC. And given how USC looked in that first game, it's looking better. I don't know if Washington plays at USC or the USC plays at Washington. I guess I'll look into that. But also 92% of bets have it on the Huskies, man, covering. Guess what? I'm gonna go with you guys too, man. -14. Let's do it. We're gonna go with the Huskies, man, of Washington. Also, I got some good people in Seattle, man. I want them to come at me.
It's at Southern Cal, by the way.
Is that Southern Cal? Okay.
Yep.
That's gonna be a good one, man. I can't wait for that one.
You got a while. It's in November.
November, yeah. I mean, you look at Southern Cal schedule, man. Their back part of their schedule is loaded. Like they play all those Pac-12 teams. They're good back-to-back weeks in November. We'll keep it moving, man. Next one, we won't have to spend too much longer because I think we're all probably used on this one. But we're gonna have West Virginia at Penn State. Penn State 20.5 point favorite over the Mountaineers. This is actually a big rivalry game. Not as big as West Virginia and Pitt, obviously, but Pennsylvania being right next to West Virginia, for sure those grass cross each other a lot in Pittsburgh. I'm gonna give quick thoughts on this game. West Virginia coach is playing for his job, man.
That seat's hot. That seat is super hot.
Yeah, like super hot. And I feel bad for him, man, because I know West Virginia is known for being good, but in the NIL era, I just don't think they can compete. I don't think they just have the budget as some of these larger schools. But strangely enough, West Virginia was competitive last year. Like, they did beat Oklahoma, and they did beat Oklahoma State.
Who didn't?
I was going to say, yeah.
I mean, Texas destroyed them. It was like 40-0.
Yeah,
I got a hot seat. Venables on a hot seat too.
Stuff. I understand that too, but I think they were competitive in other games. I mean, TCU being by 10. I mean, they did get blown out a few other games. So I mean, you're playing for your job. You got to show up in week 1. With that being said, I think Penn State is just too loaded. They're loaded at every position. They are my dark horse picks in the Big Ten to win the Big Ten. Personally, I think that Big Ten is going to come down to a 3-way tie. because I think those teams are going to just beat each other. But in this particular game, give me the Nittany Lions, man. Cover 20.5. Jacob, what are your thoughts, brother?
Yeah, I got Penn State definitely being a dark horse for them. I think Michigan and they're going to beat up on each other down. There might be another two Big Tens in the playoff this year again, but and I got Penn State over Michigan this year. I think with Ohio State being another one, but as far as West Virginia goes, I just don't see them hanging in there. It might be close first quarter, quarter and a half, but after that, Penn State's just going to slowly just run the ball down, control the ball, take them plus 20 or minus 20.5.
Let's hear it. Hear that, brother. Matt, what's your thoughts?
Well, I don't want to keep doing the same thing and just keep repeating you guys. Neil Brown's seat's hot. Penn State lost that left guard that had to medically retire. I hate to hear that for him. Drew Aller, the new Penn State quarterback, 5-star, supposed to be the guy. You know what? I'm going to be different. Originally I was going to take Penn State, and you even put me in there for Penn State. But I'm going to take, just to be different, I'm going to take West Virginia at 20.5 because they always find a way to keep it close.
Oh, look at me being premature.
Yeah, you did. I'm probably going to regret this decision more than likely because I originally planned on taking Penn State, but I'm tired of me and Jacob being the same. So
I got a feeling we're about to be different on some stuff, but
yeah, these we'll 4 games will be interesting. These next 4.
So. Yeah, these next 4 might be where we differ the most.
Yeah, let's get to it, man. As viewers got 4 games left in the docket. My goal is to stick to 13 games a week, so 13 and 14 depends on how the week lines up. This is a big game, obviously, for reasons. Battle of the Carolinas, Battle of Carowinds, taking place of Bank of America Stadium here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We had the number 21 North Carolina Tar Heels taking on the Gamecocks, Jacob's second favorite team. We got the over-under at 64.5. Matt, I'll let you start with this one. We got 2 Clemson boys, guys. Notes from viewers. These are 2 Clemson boys. Let's keep that as a disclaimer. So we're going to start with Mr. Buchanan over here.
Drake May and Spencer Rattler. I don't know if there's going to be a better quarterback matchup. Right now, UNC struggled to finish the season, whereas Carolina finished on a high note, unfortunately, beating Tennessee and Clemson. UNC lost offensive coordinator Phil Longo to Wisconsin, but you know who they did bring back? Gene Chizik, who gave up 30 points a game last year. South Carolina's running back room is bare bones. They had to convert a quarterback as well back to Oklahoma. But give me the Gamecocks to win this with Rattler and Juice Wells being too much for that sorry North Carolina secondary who couldn't stop a nosebleed last year.
Hear that? That's just the money line?
Yeah, I'll take a money line.
Take the money line? Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, Jacob, thoughts?
Same thing he mentioned, quarterback matchup is going to be a great matchup. Really interested to see what Rattler, if he can be consistent. That's my big thing with him. At Oklahoma, he was hit or miss, and then also at Carolina last year, he was. And then, but like you said, North Carolina's defense was horrible. So although I do think they might have some improvement, Gene Chisholm in his second year. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Carolina to cover the Tar Heels on this one.
Thought we were going to be different, Jacob. Thought we were going to be different.
I thought you took. Never mind. All right.
No. You took South Carolina.
No, the Tar Heels.
You took the Tar Heels. Okay, all right.
You took the Tar Heels.
I misheard all of that. So we are different.
Yeah. No, it was Carolina both parts. For me, if there's not much of a this is probably the closest thing to a pickup game of all these games today. Quite honestly, Drake May is projected probably top 5 pick. Draft come out. He's good. Like I'm on stuff like that, but kind of like what Matt said, that defense is horrible. They bring back the DC. They really didn't add no significant pieces to the transfer portal or the recruiting to make me think otherwise that they're going to improve, unless they just gather the experience from last year and then just uh, try to become at least a top 50 defense. Don't forget, North Carolina lost the last 4 games of the season last year. It still made it to the ACC championship. That should tell you how bad that division was. Um, but as far as pick, Spencer Rattler, I do agree. Can he be consistent? Spencer Rattler has got a lot of hype because of Netflix, and he has not lived up to it to the level you would think for a 5-star quarterback coming in. In addition to it, there's a pretty big name freshman from Flowtown that's right behind him, that's backing him up. And a lot of people have, might put that pressure on him, and just throwing it out there,
Yeah. His only other offer was Syracuse, Nick. Calm down.
But I'm gonna take the over on this actually. I'm not gonna go to pick him. I think both defenses are not gonna be able to stop a nosebleed. South Carolina did lose a lot of players in the transfer protocol on both sides of the ball. And their defense wasn't necessarily elite. It did take advantage of some situations. Also, South Carolina turned the ball over too much last year.
27 times last year.
27 times. That is a prime number. 27 times. You should never be doing that. But 64 and a half, man. I think this is going to be a shootout. I'm thinking 35-38, potentially. And stuff like that. A game winning field goal by North Carolina. Personally, Gamecock fans, don't come after me. Don't come after me. ACC. That's stuff. But I'm going with the over, man. 64 and a half. Let's carry it on, man. We got the 10 o'clock late night game with the Chanticleers traveling over to the West Coast, go meet Snoop Dogg and throw up some doobies, and go to Pasadena, California, to the Rose Bowl to go play UCLA. Under is spread is minus 14.5 UCLA, over under 66. Jacoby, what do we think about the Chanticleers versus the Bruins?
Traveling all the way over there, they've had pretty decent past couple years. I don't know this year what they're gonna bring as far as being able to make a run at anything. Going out to UCLA with what is it, Chip Kelly? I can't remember.
Yeah, Chip Kelly
and his offense out there. I think they're just too much for them. 14.5 is pretty. I thought that was a very low line for that matchup, but unless there's something on Coastal side that I haven't realized, I think UCLA kind of just takes this one.
Hear that, man?
Big.
Everything big. All right, big timer. Matt, what's your thoughts, brother?
UCLA doesn't have a quarterback right now. They're gonna have a three-man rotation. Their defense is going into their third coordinator in just as many years. They ranked 116th nationally last year in the passing defense. Grayson McCall has won it the Sun Belt 3 times Player of the Year in a row. The Bruins are ground and pound. They averaged 237 yards a game, last year. Rushing. So I do think they run the ball a little bit more. Give me Grayson McCall to cover that spread with Coastal. He's just a salt of the earth kind of guy with the mullets from Coastal. Give me them to definitely cover against UCLA at 14.5.
Let's go. Down with the Chanticleers. Coastal, was it 2021?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every bet I had with Coastal that game that year, I won. They were, I think overall they were 11-1 against the spread. 2022, I think they were 9-3. They do lose James Chadwell. He goes to the Liberty because Jesus has a lot of money, so I can't fault him for it. Tim Beck takes over Coastal Carolina as head coach. Grayson McCall is the only three-time Sun Belt Player of the Year. In addition, I think Sun Belt is probably over the next couple of years has become the best Group of Five conference, given the teams they have acquired with them, App State, Louisiana, and a few other programs, Georgia State. In this particular game, kind of like Matt said, we don't know who the hell is going to be quarterback for UCLA. He's going to do a rotation. We're going to look at UCLA's defense, and we're going to see how they go against this Coastal's offense. I'm not even really sure how this Coastal offense is going to be. I'm not sure if they're going to do the essentially, it was like a spread version of the triple options, how they ran last year. I don't know if they're going to kind of do something similar or if the run's going to be the focus. But I do like Grayson McCall to actually cover the spread in this game at 14.5, man. South Carolina Pride might have a little play in this. Dirty Myrtle, man, the mullets, though, I'm a big fan. So I'm in line with Matt with this, man. 14.5. Coastal Carolina.
I feel like McCall's been there for like 15 years.
I know. It's been like forever.
I feel like he's got to be like my age now, in his 30s, and has a family or something.
Yeah, right. Well, fun fact, actually, as we're about to go to pretty much the game of the weekend, as we get ready for the only top 25 matchup of both teams facing each other. That's just a top 10 matchup. We go down to Orlando, Florida to see the LSU Tigers take on my Florida State Seminoles. The spread is LSU favorite at -2.5. Over under is 56. Yeah, look at those cute. Sorry, look out my window. Might be a stepdaddy, man. Go ahead. Sorry, I paused. Jacoby, start with you, buddy. What do you think about the Seminoles and the Tigers?
First of all, screw the Noles.
Oh, Lord.
All right, and now that's out of the way. This by far is going to be one of the best games probably of the year. LSU, obviously, we know they got returning Perkins, Daniels, great wide receivers. Florida State, I'm the same there. Travis and Wilson and Coleman at the receivers.
Yeah.
So offensively, these two teams match up pretty. I would say pretty close. But I think FSU does etch out on the defensive end. That defense is just that defensive front is going to be nasty. Their quickness overall is I think is going to top LSU over. And being in Orlando, essentially that's a home game for Florida State, in my opinion. I know LSU will travel well, but I got to give this one to FSU again.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead now. Look at my ACC homie. Matt, your thoughts?
Can we just get a repeat of last year's nail biter? That's all I'm asking for.
I mean, that would be cool too. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, a blocked
screw us all in the spreads, but yeah.
A blocked field goal to end the game after, FSU turned it over and just let them march down the field, and then blocks the extra point. I'd take that over again. FSU, a lot of returning talent with Jared Verse, who I don't know why he didn't just take the first round money in the NFL draft last year. Jordan Travis, that whole offense looks like they're returning. Jaden Daniels looks like he's going to be a problem last year after transferring from Arizona State. LSU tried to get a week 0 game so they could get their defensive tackle, who had a 1-game suspension, for signing autographs in 2021 before NIL. They couldn't do it, so he's out. Mason Smith, apparently he's a really big part of their defense if they're trying to schedule a week 0 game to get him to play against this one. John Emery, who's a senior running back in their rotation, also out. I'm interested to see how FSU uses Jaheim Bell, unlike South Carolina, who didn't use him as a utility knife, which I think he could have been used as. But you know what? Give me LSU and the point to cover just because LSU wants revenge from that loss last year.
Boo.
There has to be one of us. There has to be one.
I respect that. I respect that. Truthfully, this game is a pick 'em. Dude, all these hot people in my neighborhood.
Not in County.
Focus, Nick. Focus. This is by far the best matchup of the weekend. Two top 10 teams, two teams that can win the conference, two teams that can make the playoff. As you know, y'all see the shirt, so I'm not going to trip. Y'all know where I'm going with the pick. I'll get my thoughts on the game, actually, taking my fandom out of it and actually give you a non-biased info. I think this game's going to come down to a few things. Kind of like what Matt said with the transfer of Jaheim Bell. I'm probably was the most excited transfer. I was excited. Tie-in was probably our weakest position. I think he could be a Swiss Army knife. The biggest surprise was getting Keon Coleman late in the transfer report for Michigan State. Personally, I know Johnny Wilson is what people talk about, but I think Keon Coleman is our best wide receiver. And I think it's clearly going to be seen. But both guys are top 100 players according to ESPN. In addition to Jordan Travis, Jaheim Bell, and Trey Benson. With LSU, Jaden Daniels, Brian Kelly, that's a pair to watch. Even though they're back at the quarterback, highly rated. Can't think his damn name right now. I'm just I can pull it up. I'll come back to it later. Ain't that big a deal. Could pressure him down the line. I don't think it's going to happen this game. One note, though, on the LSU side, their secondary has been ravaged with injuries. I think they're missing 2 starters and they're missing 4 players in that secondary entirely. I think that's going to be a big key going against these FSU receivers. In addition to losing, like I said, Mason Smith on the D-line. And even last year when Mason Smith played, Florida State held up on that defense line pretty well. This is, for a guy that's been going through it with Florida State for the past 7 or 8 years, especially with the offensive line. I'm like, oh my God, why can we not recruit offensive linemen? I think this is part of the best offensive line group. We had 2 or 3 players lose their starters last year, lose their starting spots due to your transfers or new recruits come in. So we're about 2 deep back there. We lost Trayshawn Ward, which honestly was my favorite running back of the running back groups. He went over to Kansas State. I think he's going to ball out over there. So it's all Trey Benson. But Trey Benson is kind of like kind of reminds me of Jonathan Stewart. He's kind of a little bit more speed stuff. Then, we got the Heisman dark horse, Jordan Travis, coming to show up and stuff. See Matt shaking his head. But fun fact, this is the 3rd straight year that Brian Kelly has to play Florida State to open the season. And right now it's 1-1. They lost 40, I think it was 41-38 in the Notre Dame Florida State game. Then it was 30-31. The spread is 2.5. I'm taking the nose all damn day. Florida State went to New Orleans last year, and there was more Florida State fans than there were LSU fans in that dome. At least they were louder, clear as day. Orlando, I'm feeling that same energy at UCF's stadium. I think they're going to show that out. I think not just for Florida State, but for the ACC as a whole to take this conference to the next level, they got to win this game. And they got to show out. Also, seeing Clemson's down the road, which is also is a big game in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I think Florida State's going to make an impression. Give me the nose, minus plus 2.5.
You don't want to take a money line, man? You don't want to be a little bit
Huh?
more confident?
Uh,
You're so confident. Why don't you take them outright?
I like you
It's only,
talking.
it's only two
Look
and a
at
half
you guys,
points.
man. We put that money line there. I'm that confident. Honestly, I think it's like, well, people forget before it was actually closed. Florida State was 1 yard from scoring and making that a double-digit game.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they
that
know
game
how to
was
defend the
dominated by
ball
Florida
over.
State for 3 quarters until,
They can't control the
it's,
ball. That same
no,
quarterback.
we even threw the ball.
Same running
It was
back.
toss.
Yeah, same running back, same quarterback.
Yeah, and stuff. But, that's probably my tad bits about Florida State. We get cute in situations we don't need to be cute in.
You haven't
Should just,
earned the right to be cute yet.
y'all come see us September 23rd. Y'all, just
Y'all
like
come
James
see
said.
I mean,
us.
you've been relevant since when? 2016. You haven't been. Where y'all been?
I mean, hey,
2015.
I will say that,
Nah,
PTSD, the last time we played a top 5 matchup, it was against Alabama, and we lost the quarterback for the whole season. That was in 2017.
You better hope that doesn't hacken, because if
Yeah,
not,
knock on
you
wood.
can go ahead and kiss your season goodbye, and Jared Verse will probably walk away.
Nah, I think Tate Roadmaker, her backup's not that bad.
Yeah,
No,
we'll
five out.
see.
But we're going to carry on to our final game. I had to kind of draw back before we got to talk about these other guys. But we're going to go to the Monday night game in Durham, North Carolina. Number 9 Tigers travel up I-85 and go take on the Duke Blue Devils. -13, the Clemson over-under is 55. Mr. Buchanan started off with your Tigers.
Riley Leonard is the best quarterback on that field. I'll say that now. I know it's probably not going to be a good thing from the Tiger fans, but Riley Leonard is a stud quarterback. Elko has really turned around that Duke program really quick. I'm a little bit optimistic to see what Klubnik does at quarterback after limited snaps last season. North Carolina, he looked great. Tennessee, he did what he could. But I think he really needs to rely on Shipley and Maffa a little bit more. That's take a little bit off of Cade with that more experienced O line. Defensively, I'm interested to see Peter Woods. After all, I've heard about him in the spring, the 5-star D tackle who's listed as a co-starter. And to see what Wes Goodwin can do in that second year, and hope that offensively Garrett Riley can make our offense not quite as vanilla as it had been. Duke returns a lot of starters, and I expect it to be a good matchup. I'm going to take the Tigers to cover this game, which is unusual for me after the last couple of years.
Let's do it. Jacob, your go.
Well, I will go ahead and go on record saying as I have placed a bet when the Heisman odds came out on Klubnik. So there's that for I think his upside is a lot more than a lot of people are going to expect. He got put into some bad situations last year. Confidence killer, especially when he got put in on like the 2 yard. I can't remember what game.
It was the Notre Dame game where they put him in.
Notre Dame, yeah, put him in literally on like inside our 20 and
inside our
2 yard line, if I don't recall. Throws a pick for it. It was just a horrible situation, and then obviously come in and do great against North Carolina. But like we said, North Carolina's defense was not that. He just was not having experience against some of these defenses. I think coming in bad situations, it just didn't help him last year. But this year, I think he's gonna be dialed in. He's got a new offensive coordinator that has proven himself a little. But then, like you said, Shipley and Maffa are going to have to take the brunt of this load in the beginning until Cade fills it out, which I think they can do. And our offensive line's doing great. On the defensive side of the ball, where you have to, our secondary is going to be what's key to really big key, especially with Duke and their passing game. And I'm sending no disrespect to Duke. They definitely can give us a run for our money. And if that secondary can't hold up, it doesn't really matter what we can do on offense if our secondary can't hold up. We've proven that in the past. But I'm excited to see what Xavier Thomas does this year. He's come back. I mean, just straight beast. What is he like? 4% body fat at this point, I think. Like his transformation has been crazy. He was hurt his first couple seasons, and last year didn't do too much. But I'm really excited to see what he can do this year. And yeah, give me Clemson to cover this one. Although I don't think we're going to blow them out of the water, and it's going to be a really good game until probably about the fourth quarter, midway, probably about 12 minutes ago. We might pull away then, but we'll be on the edge of our seats for the first half. I know that.
Yeah, I like our linebacker core, so I'm not worried about them scoring as much.
Yeah.
I feel that. 13 minus 13 was actually surprisingly lower than I expected. I thought this game was actually the spread was going to be closer to like 20. Duke had a good year last year. No props to Blue Devils. I think some of that was just the factor of that teams in the division just weren't as good. Lost a lot of players to either the NFL or the team just didn't pan out as well as I thought they would. I think Clemson wins this game easily. Rather Cade balls out or not, I don't think it's irrelevant. I think just this offensive line is going to push this defensive line, and Shipley's going to just run the ball down the throat. I think their defensive line is going to manhandle this offensive line. I like a new schedule last year. The probably best defense they played against last year was probably Pitt. I remember looking at this right. That they still lost North Carolina. They still lost to Pitt, which was a close game. In fairness to them, Duke wasn't approved. I think they have a year. I think they're still going to go to a bowl. I think 7 wins is kind of like what I'm targeting. But I guess Clemson's by far the most talented team in the ACC, and also the favorite for a reason. I think Clemson handles not only handles. Honestly, I'll probably take him at 21. Honestly, unless guys have a choke out and just like fuck up completely or something. I just don't see this being a close game. I think it's over by halftime. I also
You haven't seen us play the last 2 years, huh, Nick?
True. I'll take them. Not just the take the spread, but also take the over on this game. I think Clemson's
55.
55. I think Clemson at least puts up 40, and Duke might put up 17, 20 in garbage time. Not garbage time goes and stuff. But that's our last game to put the cap on. Any thoughts on the season coming up, guys? I know the Florida game is about to kick off now, so I'm gonna hold anyone up. But
crazy thing I saw really quick before we wrap up. Texas will play the same quarterback 3 times in 4 years. As he keeps transferring, man. He went from Southern Cal to Georgia to West Virginia. Now he's at Rice.
That's JT Daniels, right?
Yeah, JT Daniels, which is the craziest thing to me. I feel like he looks at Texas' schedule and see who's offering him, which is insane. But no, that's all I have. Hopefully, we win some money this week.
Yeah. What about you, Jacob? Any last thoughts for the week 1?
No, just glad football's back. Excited to just see what team actually emerges this week is all the underdogs we talked about, our dark horses, see if anybody emerges that we've got on our radars. So let's go Tigers.
Yes, sir.
Heck yeah, man. I guess my closing remarks, 2 quick extra bets if y'all want to throw this for Saturday. This is like my dimes I like to call. Texas Tech -14 in Wyoming. That's a good cover. And Illinois -9 against Toledo. I think that should have been at least double digits. 2 bets, kind of keep tabs on. You want to make some quick, easy money. Texas Tech is actually a dark horse. A lot of people are kind of choosing them to be that dark horse win the Big 12. They return a really good defense, which sounds weird even saying a Big 12 team. But other than that, man, college football's back. We're excited for it. We got 4 straight days of just football. 5, it's 4. Yeah, 4, 5, right? 5. Shit, yeah.
5. You got Monday
Thursday,
night too.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 5. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So with that, this Labor Day weekend, we're gonna get it rolling. We survived a hurricane. The hurricane came and stopped us from watching our football. I was a little scared about the hurricane fucking up that Florida State LSU game. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys coming on for the first episode. Hopefully, this can become a weekly thing. Working on viewership. If you're watching at home, please subscribe to me on YouTube or Facebook. Whole City High. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Jacob. This is your boy Nappy Nick. We out you. Good luck, dog. Florida. Let's get this money.
Right.
All right. Thanks, fellas.
See ya.